All right, we're live. Could you check audio on there?
Still avoiding.
Okay, it might be like 15 seconds behind.
That one for you. Okay, beautiful.
Mr. Green. All good to go? I'm gonna go post this real quick. You guys can start.
Okay. All right, I will call the Becker City Council meeting of August 18th to order. If you'll rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, has council had a chance to review the meeting minutes from August 5th, 2020? If so, I'll ask for a motion to approve. Motion to approve. Motion from Robin, second from Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Any additional items for this evening's agenda? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second. Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Those in favor can say aye. Aye. Opposed, carried. Guest and open forum. Anyone here for guest and open forum this evening? Seeing none, we'll go on to committee reports. EDA.
EDA, we met last Monday on August 10th, and we had a monthly market update. Home sales continue to be strong in the area. One of the things we talked a little bit about the comp plan, the regional plan, just kind of had updates on those. Update on the housing study, which included, we had a little bit of discussion on the city-owned lot with the community center there. And then we finally got to see the business park video, which we will see shortly. So you won't be the first one to see it. We were. That was it.
All right. In public works, we discussed several different items. The city park building improvements. If you've driven by city park, you'll see this new siding on the building, as well as some parking lot improvements. 3rd Street Trail and the Parkview construction project are going as planned. And then wastewater and water, the industrial generator repair went very well. We actually had no downtime to the repair process, so that was excellent. We all received an update on the City Hall water repair issue. And then we got like a little presentation or a little discussion in regards to leak detection surveys with our water guys. If they're noticing that our water bills, if the water bills are spiking up or really down, they're able to go in and detect if there are any leaks within the home, or at least help identify what hours of service. So they've been out there helping a lot of our citizens. It's been a really, really good customer service piece of our business. So, how about personnel?
Personnel, we met last Friday on the 14th. We talked about employee retention, which, everyone will see on the consent agenda tonight. That's about it, personnel.
All right. How about fire board?
Fire board met last night. We just paid bills and we talked about the CARES Act funding.
Park and rec?
Yes.
Yes, all right. Any other committee reports? None? Board committee and consultant reports. We have the business park video release with Ms. Flipson.
Thank you,
Mayor and Council. So tonight before you, we have a new video that we will publish live tomorrow. So it's kind of the first public sneak peek here tonight besides EDA. So what our goal was, so this year with COVID, we haven't been able to get out and do different conferences such as the Site Selector Guild or any of those marketing conferences that we normally would. So we were attempting to rethink some of what we do. So we're trying to do a more digital approach. And with some of our really cool projects that we have going on in the business park, we really wanted to capture those so we can kind of show those off both locally and nationally. So tonight I have this video for you. Unfortunately, those listening in or viewing online, we have some technical difficulties, so you'll have to view online tomorrow. So with that, here we are.
Welcome to Becker's Business Park. We are conveniently located along Highway 10 with easy access to Interstate 94. We have the convenience of the BNSF rail line, and on the other side of our business park is the Mississippi River, which is used for industrial as well as recreational use. The land here is flat, and we have stable soil, which is great for buildability. We also are a host community to Excel Energy, so we have ample power for your business. Not only have we made investments in our business park, but so has our community.
Scott Albert, COO of EMR Northern Metal Recycling. This location was a great location for us because of our footprint from Wisconsin to North Dakota is centrally located. We chose Becker because of the size of lots that they have in the industrial park. We could find one that fit the need of what we needed. You got the water, the power, the infrastructure is here. It's all around a great place to relocate business and build in their new industrial park.
So Becker for us was a good location. We grew up near here, so we kind of like it. It has kind of like a small town feel. You get to know people around. All the resources that we use, we buy a lot of material like decorative rock, boulders. So we're able to get that all really very close here. The land is built close by. So we started looking, we found this lot right away, and it's been great working with the city on everything that's going on here, building permits and stuff. It's been great.
I'm Ryan Hubbard, this is Michelle Hubbard, and together we own Hubbard Electric. This location is very important for our business. We try to be a community-based business. We do actually quite a bit of work, not only in this industrial park, but throughout the city of Becker and the surrounding area, and gives us a great opportunity to get a little bit more visual appearance on the highway. We've got good roots in this community. Our community treats us very well, and we try to keep most of our employees local here. So it's really been a great thing for our business to have local people working in this community that want to be part of our business.
Becker's the location is obviously a great location being in central Minnesota. Good community, good place to draw employees from. Great schools, a great place to raise a family. The city's been great to work with.
So that is the video. We did also create a shorter kind of intro commercial that's Tracy talking, so then we can use that to embed it into our different LinkedIn, social media accounts, all of that. It'll lead them over to that video. Hopefully get some more traction here locally with that. So special thanks to those that were in the video, those 4 businesses, and we're hoping this can potentially be the first video of multiple. Still working on what the next ones will be, but excited to see this one get launched. So. All
right, Domestic Clarifier Coding Project 2020, Mr. Kniesen.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight in front of you, we've got a domestic clarifier coding project that I'm going to attempt to present because Mr. Liston is on vacation. Domestic wastewater treatment facility was constructed in 2008. As of 2019, the clarifier mechanisms in both domestic clarifiers were showing significant signs of corrosion, especially the center feed column. Staff would expect to get 20 to 25 years of life out of these mechanisms. To get the life out of the existing mechanisms, the corrosion that is occurring needs to be addressed. In 2019, Council approved coding of domestic clarifier number 2. We're now asking Council to address the corrosion on domestic clarifier number 1. Staff has spent a lot of time discussing the work with industrial coatings experts, and we're able to get 3 bids to apply the coatings that they would recommend for this application. Staff would like to hire Nelson Industrial Coatings LLC to prep, sandblast, chloride wash, prime as specified, and apply 2 coatings of sure glass, flake-filled epoxy finish to the metal mechanism of domestic clarify number 1. The project has been discussed at Public Works, like the mayor had said earlier, and they recommended approval of the project. We did budget $45,000 in our 2020 CIP for this project. The slight overrun on that, $623 will come out of our operating budget because of that. I know in Chris's absence, he did send out an email with detailed pictures showing you guys what needs to be done and what needs to happen. So we rotated clarifiers, so this one is idle right now, so it's in prime position to be prepped and painted and ready to go pending your approval. So there is details here of what the sure glass is and the product we're putting on there. So if you have any questions, I will attempt to answer those. Otherwise, a motion in a second to move forward would be appreciated.
I was the one, anything by the one quote was 120,000, everybody else was in the 47.
It came from a company that was highly recommended. This is kind of in their wheelhouse, but their projects that they do, they work on facilities for communities like 150,000 population versus 5,000. The representative from Sherwin-Williams was actually surprised that they accepted the offer to bid on it and that they even submitted something back. So it was kind of a throwaway bid because we had others that were comparable priced, but so their scope of work is very similar, but their plan would be to totally encase the clarifier, totally tarp it off, tent it off, and none of that's required. There's no environmental hazards or issues with it. So they were just kind of going above and beyond, and their qualifications are exponentially higher as far as capacity size than what we're doing. Chris put it in there to show you that he's got great negotiating skills. So.
Wow.
I took it down pretty good.
Well, if nobody has any other questions, I make a motion to approve resolution 2062. Equal in the domestic clarifier number 1.
I'll second that. Motion from Mike, second from Robin. Any other discussion on it? Hearing none, those in favor can say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Grant writing authorization for available grant with Vernix Foundation. Mr. Knudsen.
Thank you, Mayor. As you remember, at last council meeting, we presented an agreement from HKGI that we would like to put in place for any grant possible opportunities. We told you we'd come back if there were anything presented itself, and that's what we're here tonight to look at doing. There is a collaborative effort we're trying to put together with the Becker Youth Basketball Association, the Lions Club, and a few other donors as well. And we're trying to find other funding sources that we can use towards this basketball pad, a full court basketball court, probably located at Coconut Park, utilizing the lights and stuff like that. So it's going to be part of the 2021 project work that we're doing, but we're looking to submit a grant opportunity this year. So the Vernix Foundation grant is accepting applications through the end of this month. They will, first phase, it gets awarded or gets notified in October. And if you're get selected, you will be notified in January for funds payable in 2020. So the grant is anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000, and HKGI has quoted us $560, not to exceed $560 for this portion of the grant writing opportunity. It kind of fits our wheelhouse with what we're trying to do. It's not a ton of money being spent, but if we could get payback of 10 or upwards of $15,000 for that investment, it would be a good trial run to see if this partnership is going to work out and could solicit the funds that we're trying to do. So tonight I'm asking for your permission to enter an agreement with HKGI for the $560, or not to exceed $560 for this grant opportunity.
What is the surface you're looking to make the court?
It would be, the base would be concrete, and then there's a sport court application on top of that. Doing research on that to avoid jumper's knee and athletic fatigue on just a hard court surface. but looking at all of our options on that. It's kind of fun when you look at it because we're also working with Knife River Foundation, their Partners to Parks Foundation for grant opportunity because of the concrete that we would use. And staff is currently looking at the entire campus of the BCC, pending on council's approval of the CIP for next year. And would this be a candidate to fit over there and see how this would lay out into that whole campus with the other things that are being possibly proposed over there? Or could we use Cobinger Park as well, just to bring some life back into it? We're looking at Cobinger right now because of the lighting situation. So we could utilize this court, till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. There's not a lot of residential over there, so the bouncing of the basketball is not really going to interfere with a lot. So that's kind of up in the air, but the commitments that we've already received from the Lions Club and the Youth Basketball Association, should this go forward, are really going to push the cost of the project down. So it'll be a shared community event. So there's a lot of things coming into play, but we're just trying to get this thing lined up, pending a lot of approvals. And if we get this grant to make this work, it'll be more palatable for council come the 2021 construction season.
So do you have a rough estimate as far as the overall cost of the project before any grants, or like what you're thinking about that, with that surface?
Yep. Total cost.
Utilizing existing lights.
Yep, total cost, standards, basketball standards, nets, sport court, the whole finished product, turnkey, so to speak, is about $42,000. And that's a full-size high school regulation with a 3-foot boundary around the entire court as well. So.
Well, this is a good place to try that grant writing. So I guess I'm in favor of doing it. It's, if you can get even 5,000.
Right, yeah, I mean, if we get our money back and we got something under our belt, we would take that. But yeah, if we can get any return on investment, we feel it's a really good opportunity to see what this partnership can do for us. So.
Do they have any kind of idea, like, so this is the kind of the mini application, you get the full application if you make it to the November phase. Any idea roughly what the HKGI is?
They're feeling very optimistic on this because of the community involvement. It's really a health and fitness and education grant is what Vernix Foundation is looking for. And as soon as they see collaborative efforts with youth organizations or outside entities, not just the city coming in and saying, okay, we're going to fund this project, can you help us out? But they're seeing the collaboration. And he was really excited that we're also looking for, Knife River is interested in the project because of the concrete, and that the Lions Club has already stepped up, and if the project goes through, they've committed $5,000 to the project for next year. So that's all boding very well for this particular cause.
Well, I guess that's good to know. What I was asking was, like for the second phase, but I guess what do you see as HKGI's involvement? I mean, is this really large, the second?
Their quote is for turnkey to the end.
Oh, the $560.
The $560 gets us to the end.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, so basically what they'll do is they're taking like our city's mission statement, what our vision is for our parks system, and blending that with the youth basketball as well. What age groups do they serve, how many people participate, stuff like that. But yeah, so phase 1 will get us that hurdle, and phase 2 is included in the 560 to get us to the if we make it that far. That's why we're going not to exceed. Sorry, I didn't have your clarification.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
I'll make a motion, we enter into an agreement with, who was it again?
HKGI.
HATR. For, grant writing for, basketball court.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Administrator and staff reports. Snuffy's Landing Park, plank agreement with Minnesota DNR. Mr. Knudsen.
Yeah, we're really trying to spruce up our parks. So we're here again. I've been working with the DNR throughout the summer. And one of the things we're looking at Snuffy's Landing is the actual boat landing. It's been in place since 1994. The planking itself is really in solid shape. The problem is there's a lot of sediment that has kind of washed into play, and some of the boulders have been repositioned. And so I've met with DNR twice on the site. We're actually in the water the last time. And what we're doing is we're looking to extend the plank by 5 feet, put another section in play, look to dig that down a little bit to create a better pool for boats to land and load out of, as well as push some of the boulders off to both sides, create a little bit better eddy there where they can have quick available landing. So we're doing this, I've worked with the Clear Lake firefighters, as well as the Sherburne County Water Recreation Rescue, because if we don't have this landing in good shape for those guys, they've got to go to Clearwater to get on the river or down to Elk River to get on the river on the Sherburne County side. So it's kind of it's a great recreational tool, but it's also a vital resource for our safety personnel. So with that, the DNR is trying to come in and they'll work on any permits, they'll work with their fishery on anything that we need to do there, and they'll bring in some staff and some equipment. If the water's low enough, they can do a lot of the work with their equipment. If the water's too high, I'm working on a donation from a local contractor to do some of the dredging work if we need to. If not, then we'll come out of our, come out of our CIP fund from the Sundays Landing portion of the CIP. So we're optimistic at this point, if this goes through, that we can get this work done yet this year, and it should be at little or no cost to us. The agreement is nothing, and they're donating the planking, providing some of the labor. I did reach out as a backup too, because Excel, we have a lease with them on the property. We ran this through Excel. Excel's aware of what's going on, they're supportive of what we're trying to do to improve the landing out there in the park. So.
Do we have the option of, because we've had a lot of rain lately, and the water, I imagine is pretty high right now, do we have the option if it's just too high to defer to next year, or does this have to take place as well?
No, this is, the DNR will control that schedule, and based on what they're seeing in water levels. So I usually go out there depending on rain, once a week or every other week, just take a view. If it changes dramatically, I'll send them a photo so they can see the bearing markers that we're showing. But yeah, we're hopeful for September, but we'll just kind of play it out and see what their schedule looks like and what the water levels look like. But it's fluid.
Any other questions for Phil?
I'll make a motion to allow staff to enter into agreement with the Minnesota DNR for Snuffy Landing Park agreement.
Second.
Motion from Becky, second from Robin. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Thank you. One more thing, Madam Mayor. Just a reminder to council that we rescheduled our cleanup and recycling day for August 29th. And I know a couple of you, Madam Mayor and Mr. Henderson, have agreed to volunteer. It's 9 to 1 on August 29th, that's Saturday. So if anybody else would like to volunteer, we'll gladly take your help. So.
I'll be there.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
We got that on recording.
Do I get a t-shirt?
A dirty one, that's
Safety
Cleanup
up for sure.
I'll see if we have a census one we can.
You one of the conflict ones. Are we having it back in Public Works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this year, we're trying to coordinate with Northern Metals, but with everything that's going on and them trying to finish up their operation, getting their final cleanup in play, we just felt it was pushing everybody around with the changes and what's going on. So our intent next year is to bring it back to its original date and to partner with Northern Metals. But for this year, the route will be just slightly different because we'll take money collection in a segregated manner where it'll be, come to the counter and customers won't be helping unload. They'll just be driving in and staff will be taking stuff out. So we're trying to keep the distancing in place and the communication or contact points and minimized if at all possible.
And just a quick recap on things that we're accepting that day. It's not general junk.
It's not general trash, correct? Yeah. So that's kind of went away. We just don't have a way to get rid of that stuff. So it's really, your refrigerators or freezers or mattresses or players and stuff like that. Household hazard waste, we're not overly advertising that, but the county is coming in and helping us out with that as well.
Are we accepting cash or will it just be electronic pay?
We will take.
Okay.
Do we take electronic?
I was just asking.
We do take electronic?
Sarah's got capabilities.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That's it?
Yes, that's it.
All right, we'll
Thank
move
you.
on. Thanks. Suspension of rules, temporary signs, outside sales, public consumption of alcohol. Ms.
year, council did pass resolution 20-44, which was the original suspension of rules which allowed for temporary signage to go up within the community and also allows for some outdoor sales or public consumption of alcohol on some city sidewalks and parking lots. That resolution does call for the suspension to end at the end of August. So in talking with some of the restaurants, they are still using some of that sidewalk space and are doing the temporary signage. So staff is proposing resolution 20-61 that would actually extend it through the end of the year. So it allows them to use the sidewalk space for the rest of kind of the outdoor season, but then also allows them to use their signage in anticipation if the executive orders continue. They can still continue their signage outside, directing customers on what's available through at least the end of the year, and we can chat at that time too if it's needed to be extended or not. So with that, I can answer any questions. Otherwise, I'd recommend or ask for approval of that resolution.
I think we should extend that, at least until the governor's restrictions go away. So I'll make a motion to extend the suspension of the rules to the year end.
Motion from Mike, second from Robin to approve resolution 2061. Any other questions? Hearing none, those in favor can say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Consent agenda, Mr. Krasinski.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council, good evening. August 18th, 2020, we do have a revised consent agenda, so please take note of that. And item number 1 is actually the revision to the consent agenda, which is the hiring and termination reports from the community center and Pebble Creek Golf Course. Item number 2 is City Council meeting date amendment, and that's resolution 2060. And then item number 3 was mentioned earlier in the meeting, and that is an update to our personnel policy, and that is a change to our vacation time. Any questions, I can try to field those. Otherwise, a motion to adopt the consent agenda for August 18th would be appreciated.
Just a point of clarification on your resolution 2020-60, changing the date of the city council meeting. It's due to the election results not being finalized for 7 days, so therefore our previously scheduled date does not account for that, so that is why it's being changed. Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion from Mike, second from Rick. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Payment of the bills.
Motion to pay bills.
Motion from Rick, second from Becky. Pay the bills. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor can say aye. Opposed? Carried. Does the council have anything else for the betterment of Becker? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second. All right, well. Motion from Mike, second from Robin to adjourn. Those in favor can say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 5:29 PM.